Make Air India great again. That's Tata's mission after the takeover in 2022. The Indian flag carrier was once known as the very best airline in the world, setting standards across the world in terms of service and comfort. It even became the very first airline to feature an all-jet fleet in 1962, being the world's most profitable airline. But over the years, the Maharaja started to struggle, mainly due to mismanagement, poor decision-making, and the introduction of other airlines. Slowly but surely, Air India turned into a national embarrassment, with poorly maintained planes and state employees who were rather flying for the benefits instead of the passion of aviation, sucking the blood out of the Maharaja. In January 2022, Tata is taking over control again, and there's no doubt that Indians have high hopes that it will turn the airline around, reaching new heights. So I went to India to inspect the airline myself and see whether there is a new spirit among the staff. So please join me on a flight from Delhi to Kolkata.
Thank you very much. Bye.
My journey started on an early Friday afternoon in Delhi, and being a huge fan of Indian aviation, I've been following the developments on Air India for the past couple of years, suggesting myself in an earlier Air India flight in 2019 that the only way to rescue the airline is by privatizing it. But let's start our journey at the Air India economy class check-in counter, which is one of the worst things a human can go through. Long queues, constantly people trying to be sneaky or push you out the way are just the smallest of issue one can face inside the line. Once at the counter, 200 people want to check in with you at the same time. But those are things the airline has very little influence on. After 45 minutes, I finally received my boarding pass.
So guys, and here we are, welcome from Delhi and flying to Maharaja today. And I know the Tata Group is only taking over operation from January next year, but today we're going to find out whether there is a new spirit among the crew already, whether they are ready to tackle what's ahead of them to find back to old glory. So let's do this, let's take the Dreamliner all the way to Kolkata. So Diwali just finished last week. Huge celebration. Indian airports are probably the most dramatic places on all earth. You go to the check-in counter, people arguing. You go to the security checks, people arguing. You go to the lounge at the entrance, people are arguing. It's hilarious. It's always very dramatic. That's because Indians, they don't take shit, hey? And they love a bit of drama as well. But also look at the smog here, it's really intense. Very crazy. It's a time of the year where the farmers burn the crops and then all the smoke comes into the city and the pollution reaches like hazardous levels. So if you don't want to wear a mask because of COVID, you should definitely wear a mask so you don't inhale all that toxic fume and whatever there is in the air. But I'm so excited flying Air India. It's been a while. Last time was a complete shit show, but I'm very hopeful that this time, now that they know, and I know a lot of staff is worried about, are they going to be keeping their jobs, because they're government jobs, that's why they usually don't care. And now I have friends working in India, there is a bit of a feeling of worriness. Are they going to keep their jobs? Which changes are going to be implemented? Because overall, Tata wants to turn this airline around and again wants to make it one of the best in the world. So today we will see what the spirit is like on board. Also here in this very corner is where I filmed the intro back then for the Jet Airways review. We all know Jet Airways, they went bust. They might be coming back, but I don't believe it until I see it. Let me know in the comments if you think that they're ever going to be airborne again. But this is where I filmed the intro for that video back then. Had over 3 million views. It's still trending occasionally. And very funny story, after I published the video, Jet Airways gave me a call and they asked me, Josh, do you actually mind deleting that video? Obviously I didn't, but I met up with them in Mumbai once, had a really good chat, don't know what's happened to that guy. He was some higher management person, but he was really lovely. Wonder where he ended up. Can't remember his name either, but I should check my emails. Maybe the name will be somewhere here. If you know what he's up to, let me know. And hello, I hope you're doing well.
But now it's finally time to head to the gate and to see on which plane we're taking the 2-hour journey to India's former capital, Kolkata. And yes, you guessed right, we will be flying on Air India's 787 Dreamliner today. A wide-body plane on a domestic flight isn't something you get to see every day. But let's have a closer look at Air India's fleet. The airline is operating 27 787 Dreamliners, which with an average age of 7.5 years are some of the oldest in the industry, which you can clearly see once on board. The rest of the long-haul fleet consists of 16 777s and a single 747, which is soon to be retired. When it comes to short-haul, Air India fully trusts the Airbus A320 family with 77 planes in service.
So we just started aboard, just met a subscriber at the gate. He said, Josh, it might not be too good today. You're on the vlog now, hey? Hi, how are you?
Straight and right, good.
You go, after you come.
Thanks.
No worries.
Welcome on board Air India's stated 787 cabin in economy class with a total of 238 seats in the 333 configuration. My seat on today's flight was 38J.
Be careful.
But let me give you a proper seat tour. Every seat features personal entertainment, a remote control and a USB slot. It was very sad to see though that everything was worn and broken, but also very filthy, almost falling apart. But more shockingly, you could see how the paint is falling off the wings, exposing patches everywhere. Not something you want to see. We were then pushed back for our flight to Kolkata, and now this is also a good time to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on next week's very juicy Vistara review or my African adventure, which starts next month. Oh, and also hit that like button if you enjoyed this review so far. Thank you. But before we continue the review, let's talk about Tata's biggest challenge in turning the airline into a profitable endeavor: its employees. Air India staff enjoys delusional benefits like free housing in prime locations, massive free tickets allowance for them and their entire families without needing to perform, milking the airline and enjoying the free-flowing tax money. Tata wants to end this madness, and part of the airline takeover was a 1-year job guarantee for its employees, which means in 2023 Tata can start cleaning up. Most government employees are so afraid now that they actually need to work for their money that they are organizing strikes throughout all the departments. Half an hour into the flight, a meal was served and it looked a bit like someone vomited into my plate. And to be honest, it tasted the way it looked like. However, I appreciate the fact that Air India serves a free meal on a short domestic flight, something you won't see in Europe. And as the sun was setting, I thought I would try the in-flight entertainment, but it seems it doesn't work on domestic flights. Instead, I enjoyed the flight map. We then started our descent into Kolkata, and I'll give you a full summary of today's flight and what I think of Air India's future once I'm at the hotel. But the flight as such was pretty okay, given that it was rather cheap and operated on a wide body. but I was also happy to see that one of the crew members was one of my subscribers, so I made sure to say goodbye to her too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you very much. I came to talk to you.
I was sleeping, right?
Yes, you
well,
were
thank you
sleeping.
so much for everything.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
So this is it. This was my Air India 787 Dreamliner review, and very important to say that not every government employee is lazy. Not every Air India employee is a burden to the airline. But in order to achieve and to turn around this airline into something profitable, into something that it used to be, a lot of hard and uncomfortable changes need to be done. You know, what wasn't right 20 or 30 years ago must not be right in the times of 2021. And Tata, most of all, wants to turn it into a profitable business and once again turn it into the pride of India. And that should be the mission. And I think this is where we all agree on. So I do believe in order to go forward, it's going to be a lot of work. The planes are outdated, the cabins are old, the product is not very appealing, crew doesn't seem to be very service oriented in general. So there's a lot to be done, and there will be a lot of tough and hard decision to turn this airline around. I do believe if it's one company that can achieve it, it's definitely Tata, which is probably one of the most successful businesses in the world. They have experience, they know how to deal with airlines, and I'm very hopeful that they can be, once again, the #1 airline in India. But that being said, I'm very much looking forward to see the transition happening and whether Tata, and this is probably one of the biggest challenges the group has ever faced in their long history, but I also think it's one of the most passionate jobs that they have ahead of them since Air India returned to its legitimately owner. So be closely observing this transition, and I really hope it's gonna be a success. I mean, no doubt it will, but as I said, there will be a lot of tears, there will be a lot of anger, there will be a lot of issues, but we'll see what the outcome is going to be. But yeah guys, this was it for my today's review of Air India. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Is Tata going to succeed to turn Air India around, or is it going to be a belly landing? I want to hear your opinions, so let me know. Also, if you want to support my work and join my WhatsApp group where we have a great community, share travel stories, and if you want to be part of my monthly Zoom sessions or just want to get behind the scenes, check out the link in the description box below. Holding the airlines accountable for their promises does require a lot of money, especially those tickets aren't cheap, but I always aim and try to give you an honest and truthful review so you know what to expect. It reaches the airlines so they can take actions on our feedback. This should be it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and guys, thank you so much for watching, and wherever you're off to, have a safe trip.